Hey guys, let's start with our warm-up. We have walking hip circles. So you could either do it standing in place like I am or walking forward and back. Just make sure to rotate your hips outward and inward, keeping those hip bones facing forward. So you don't want to rotate at the waist or anything. Keep everything right in line and just clearing up those hip joints. Next, we have standing torso twist. Keep that rib cage pulled in, abs nice and tight. And this one you are going to rotate at the waist and spread those arms open. Open the chest out to one wall, back to center, and then to the other side. So keep those hips pointed forward. It's just the upper body and your torso that is moving. For our 90-90 hip stretch, sit down, have your feet flat, knees are bent, and then you're just gonna drop your knees over to one side and then the other, doing your best to keep your hips grounded and your knees close to touching the floor as best as you can. And this is gonna get a nice stretch in those hip sockets and get you more mobile. Lastly, we have our prone chest opener. Lay on your stomach, clasp your hands behind your back, and you're gonna stretch those arms straight, lift your head, lift your chest, and get a good chest and shoulder stretch. And then you're gonna lower it back down, relaxing down to the floor, and then stretch up again. Leave your legs onto the floor and squeeze those glutes to help protect your lower back. Move those shoulders away from your ears as you lift up. Now for our first circuit, we're starting off with the dumbbell squat to shoulder press. So have your feet hip to shoulder width apart, and you're going to have your dumbbells stacked on top of your shoulders. Drop your butt down for the squat first, and as you stand up, then go into a shoulder press. Keep those abs nice and tight. Thighs, try to bring them parallel to the ground. And then as you drive up from the squat, drive those heels through the floor, push those hips forward at the top, pull that rib cage in, and punch your arms straight up to the ceiling without lifting your shoulders. Next, we're gonna perform push-ups from the floor. So you're gonna start laying on your stomach. Keep those toes curled under. Hands are underneath your shoulders. Brace that core, squeeze those glutes, and press your whole body off the floor all at once. So keeping that core nice and tight, rib cage pulled in, glutes squeezed, that all helps assist in pressing up into that top of a push-up position. And now if that's a little bit too difficult, what you can also do is place your knees onto the floor, relax the feet, and then press up from the floor. Same principle applies where you're keeping your pelvis tucked under, abs are engaged, glutes are squeezed, and go from the floor. Next, we have dumbbell sumo squat pulses. Have your feet wider than shoulder width apart. You drop your butt down, pulse twice, and then push those heels through the floor to come up. Squeeze those abs nice and tight and squeeze your glutes too as you come up. So butt goes back and then push those hips forward at the top. Lastly, in circuit 1, skull crushers. Lay on your back, arms are straight up with the dumbbells, and then bend those elbows, bring the dumbbells right to the sides of your ears, and squeeze your arms straight up. Make sure those elbows stay in line with your shoulders. They're not jutting out or in, and just try to keep those arms in that straight track. Squeeze the back of the arm to straighten all the way up. Now for circuit 1, active recovery, we have dumbbell dead bugs. Lay on your back, legs in a tabletop position, dumbbells in hand, straight up. And you're just holding the dumbbells in place, keeping that back flat against the floor, and alternating, dipping your heels down one at a time. Pull those legs back up to start using that core, and keep that back completely glued to the floor as best as you can. Second active recovery, Superman swimmers. Lay on your stomach, and then you're just going to lift up, swim those arms back, bring them forward, and lower it down. Make sure, even though we're laying on our belly, you're keeping your core tight, rib cage pulled in, and then squeeze those glutes as you lift up. It'll help protect your lower back and also help you lift up higher. Last active recovery, star swoops. So you're laying on your back, lift your head, lift your chest, and you're gonna do like an X hold, hollow hold, arms apart, legs apart, and then you're gonna swoop up to sit up in a V pose. Keep those abs nice and tight, and now you don't have to sit all the way up onto your butt if that's a little bit too difficult for you. You can just stretch back or place one foot on the floor and extend one leg out and alternate, bringing the other leg out and tucking it in. Now for circuit 2, we're going to start off with dumbbell lunge to a lateral raise. So feet together, take a big step forward, 90-degree bend in each of your legs. And then as you're at the bottom pose of the lunge, lift those arms up parallel to the ground, and then spring back off of that front foot to return back to start. Make sure hips are in alignment, you're keeping good posture. Look straight ahead, try to focus on something to help keep your balance in this position. Now on to renegade row. Grab a pair of dumbbells, get a top of a push-up position, tuck that pelvis under, and then squeeze your shoulder blades and elbow back up to the top to work those back muscles, and keep your pelvis steady, abs nice and tight, or you can do a modified version with your knees onto the floor, still squeezing your back as you pick your elbow up. Next, we have RDLs. So grab either a pair of dumbbells or a kettlebell. Have your feet hip width apart, toes are pointed straight. Hinge at those hips and squeeze your butt on the way up. Drive those heels through the floor to push you all the way up. And push those hips forward at the top, squeezing those glutes. Keep your knees just slightly soft. So they're not completely locked out, but they're not bending. They're just relaxed. Last in circuit 2, we have rear delt flies. So grab a smaller pair of dumbbells, hinge at those hips, and then bring your arms out, angled out like a 45-degree angle to the side of your body, squeezing the back of the shoulders. Pull that rib cage in and keep that back flat. Knees are soft and elbows are also slightly bent. Now for circuit 2, active recovery, we have leg raises. Lay on your back, hands underneath your butt, and lower your legs down only as low as you can without arching the back off of the floor. So keep that low back, tailbone glued to the mat, and it's okay if you are only able to lower it down an inch or a foot or two, doesn't matter, as long as you're keeping that back and core activated. That's all that matters. Second, we have plank hip twists. Get into a forearm plank, elbows underneath your shoulders. Tuck your pelvis under, and now you're gonna dip your hips down to one side, back and forth. Keep those feet on your toes. Feet are a little bit apart, and just keep those abs activated. Now for our last active recovery, scissor reverse crunches. Lay on your back, arms to the side of your body. You're gonna tuck your pelvis under to lift your hips and legs off of the floor and control it slowly on the way back down too. So you're gonna control it up and control it down with the tilt of your pelvis and scissor kick the legs at the top, all controlled. So you can also do a modified if this one isn't possible for you. Do a regular reverse crunch, and then you're gonna add just one kick at a time, still tucking that pelvis under to get that lift. Bye.